Hello, and welcome to the BMC Quick Course Series. My name is Warren Hawkins, and I'm a software consultant for the BMC DB2 products. In this demo, I'll show you how to implement Reorg Advisor, an exclusive technology delivered with BMC SQL performance for DB2. Often, DBAs reorganize databases when performance degrades. However, not all performance slowdowns are caused by disorganized databases. The Reorg Advisor evaluates DB2 object performance and determines whether a reorganization may resolve a performance problem and when it may not. By avoiding unnecessary reorganizations, the Reorg Advisor can reduce operating costs and possibly defer CPU upgrades. Let's get started. Let's look at some setup items that need to be accomplished. First, we need to define tables to the Performance Advisor database. This is the database that is used by all our Performance Advisor products that are used for both historical, trending, and analysis. These are the 5 tables that are needed for Reorg Advisor. Next thing we need to do, of course, is to populate those tables. Those tables are populated from the DB2 catalog statistical tables and runtime stats tables. So we're going to unload those tables and we're going to load them up into the Performance Advisor database. Next thing we need to do is to ensure that our plan and packages are there and bound and are valid. The plan, of course, is DSN REXX and all of its associated packages. And finally, we need to analyze the Performance Advisor database looking for reorg candidates, and we will populate the reorg candidate table with those that meet not only a organizational dysfunctional capability, but also a performance degradation threshold as well. Now, having said all that, let's take a look at the job as an example. This is a job that is submitted that will accomplish the first item, which is to populate the Performance Advisor database. This job will unload from the DB2 catalog and, of course, load into the Performance Advisor database. This is just more information on the same job. I just kind of wanted to show you the format of the unload. Sometimes a visual as to what type of job is running is nice. It also gives me the opportunity to say that this job, the table definitions, and the job that analyzes the Performance Advisor database are all found in our install DSN library that is distributed with the product, and also in the BB-SAMP library of that distribution as well. So all of these jobs are there. If you have any trouble getting them, please let us know, and we're always available. Of course, our support is always available to assist you as well. Now, for verification, let's take advantage of Catalog Manager here, and let's look at our plan DSN REXX to make sure it's A there, 2 bound, and 3 valid. So we simply type in object PL for plans, qualifier DSN REXX, and we hit the enter key. And voila, our plan list shows that that plan is indeed there. So let's verify the packages. And we do that simply by typing in PG and hit the enter key. And voila, those packages are there. They have been bound and they are all valid. So this is definitely a good sign. So we have another check mark for the setup. So let's end this. Now, real quickly, taking a look at this job. Again, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Just to show you the job that is executed, that will also go out there and analyze the Performance Advisor database tables and populate the reorg candidate tables based on that. Now that we have gone through the checklist and set up our database, loaded our tables, and populated the candidate tables, now we need to go in to the Reorg Advisor and view our results. Here is the SQL Performance for DB2 main menu. We type in an A for Performance Advisor and hit Enter. This screen shows us our Performance Advisor options from Workload Access Path Compare down to the Exception Advisor. So let's type in an A and hit Enter. This is the Reorg Advisor screen, and it quickly shows us that our data collector DCCA is up, is active, and data collection is ready. The other thing to note on this screen, of course, is the DB2 subsystem where the Performance Advisor database resides is blank. I left that blank intentionally so we can highlight another screen of choices. And the final one that's very important, of course, is the name of the reorg candidate table. Often the install team of DBAs, sysadmins, and syspros will set up a synonym for this. And this, of course, is the table that was populated from that previous job. If not, then we need to actually type that name in. But let's hit enter to look at the next option. Here is a DB2 subsystem selection panel. So if we don't know the specific DB2 name, or sometimes if you are like me, you forget what all these DB2s are and you need a visual reminder. And that's what this is. I can now go down and select DJJ1 because DJJ1 is the DB2 subsystem of interest. We select that and hit enter. Now we notice that the currently selected DB2 field has been filled in with DJJ1. Beautiful. Now all we need to do is to press enter again, and that takes us back to the Reorg Advisor screen where we are ready to look at the analysis from the Reorg Advisor. Let's hit enter. And voila! Now we're looking at the report from the Reorg Advisor. Real quickly, what is really nice to note here is without Reorg Advisor, or without the capability of analyzing, in this case, there are 60 table spaces that have been analyzed or decided to be candidates for reorganization. Out of the 60 table spaces that are candidates, only 4 of them are causing performance problems. That is very significant because in days of old, we would have had to submit a reorganization job for each one of those table spaces, which would then total 60. We would have to reorganize 60 table spaces because they were poorly disorganized. Now we have the ability not only to look at the organization, but to look at the performance characteristics of these tables as well. And that tells us that only 4 of them need to be reorganized. And that quickly would tell me that if I only have to reorganize 4 as opposed to 60, I'm going to use a lot less CPU. It's going to cost me a lot less. I am going to get a lot more application time. And not only that, I'm basically getting the best bang for my dollar by using the Reorg Advisor to tell me which ones to reorganize. Now, having said that, of course, let's look at the panel, and the panel quickly shows us that you have some reorg candidates, and that certainly is yes for 4 of them and no for the other 56. You have some candidates that are very poorly disorganized, and of course all 60 of them fit the bill here. So I think doing the first things first, or the old options first, let's look at the organizational statistics of these objects. In order to do that, of course, we simply type in an O next to the first line and we hit enter. And voila! This shows us very, very quickly what is the disorganization, what is causing us to be disorganized for this particular table space. An unclustered percentage of 42.7, which definitely is greater than our threshold of 10, tells us that this table space has become terribly unclustered. Not only that, but I'm having a total of 537 unclustered inserts, of course, out of a total of 1,259 rows. So almost 50% of my activity on my data is in an unclustered fashion. But yet and still, this is not particularly room for alarm until I see whether or not this application or this database or table space is performing poorer than it did before. So one thing I do have to note before we get off the screen is that O acts as a toggle switch, and so simply typing in O again and hitting the enter key will toggle off this report. Let's see. I hit O and hit again, and that of course toggled off that report. So now let's enter a P here and hit enter. And Voila! Now we see that not only is this particular candidate poorly organized, but look at the performance degradation that is being caused here. It is, as they would say, off the charts. 400% change when we had a 20% degradation threshold, and the get pages per synchronous IO is like at 80%. So my goodness, this thing is really running poor. So this would be one that I would say we need to quickly reorganize it, or is an excellent candidate for reorganization, because changing of the organization of this particular table space should increase or improve our performance characteristics. I'm going to end here because this is the major piece of this whole 10-minute explainer, is to show you how quickly you can look at your environment, identify candidates for reorganization that are candidates that will improve performance, and not just reorganizing them for reorganization's sake. And with that, I would like to say thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to you about the Reorg Advisor. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to use the link shown on this slide, or as usual, don't hesitate to give our excellent support a telephone call, or your salesperson, or your friendly software consultant. Again, this is Warren Hawkins saying thank you very much.